Okay, I think we're good to start. So, hey everyone, this is InterSystems webinar for the FHIR contest. And as you know, we started InterSystems Iris FHIR contest yesterday, and it will last for 2 weeks. And actually today is the webinar where we will show you how you can use the template we prepared and use and to set up a InterSystems Iris FHIR server to use it REST API and consume the data using SQL, and to build solutions against InterSystems Iris for health. And here we have presenters. Patrick Jameson, product manager of InterSystems, and Guillaume Rongier, from sales engineer from France, and from InterSystems department from France. And actually, I'm transferring voice to Patrick to speak about InterSystems Iris for health. And so, Patrick, you're very welcome to start. Okay,
thank you very much. Thank you very much, Evgeny. I hope everyone out there is having a great day. I'm talking to you from Boston. We have a glorious summer day today, and so I hope it's just going as well for you. This is a really exciting topic because there are some big changes happening in healthcare, and really what I'm going to talk to you about is at the center of all of those changes. So I'm going to talk about why FHIR, or Fast Healthcare Interoperability Resources, is the new frontier in building health applications. It's really, not to overstate it, it's catalyzing a new wave of healthcare application development. And I'm going to show you why that has taken place. And I'll give you some major use cases of how it's being used. And then Guillaume will take it away and really dive deep into showing you some hands-ons with FHIR. So when I say a new wave, I'm really serious. I've been in this business for over 30 years. This healthcare interoperability during this time has been mainly about just getting systems to work within the hospital. It's been all about HL7v2. But today, things are really changing. We're seeing that we're not as interested anymore, although it's still important to get systems working within the hospital's four walls, is being able to move that data out to the patient and to other players in the healthcare system, like payers, for example, or a number of companies, insurance companies, other innovative entrepreneurial companies, pharma, medtech companies, etc. What's changing is we're moving healthcare from being mainly an on-premise function to one that's moving toward the cloud. And it's driven now more mainly by queries, and FHIR is a very important type of query language, essentially. And it's less event-centric, which HL7 has always been very much about events. It's also opening up the API so that there's a lot better semantic interoperability with FHIR than there ever was with HL7v2. Essentially, we can codify resources so that we can basically be able to exchange data much more reliably with greater, effectively greater meaning. What's also happening is that we're moving toward Jameson as a format for data exchange and away from HL7v2. So what we're using more and more is HTTPS, not TCP/IP. Now, some of you may know about the Office for National Coordinator, but many probably do not. It is a major standard-setting group in the federal government that determines essentially how data can be exchanged. And it came out with a ruling this year that will improve transparency in the cost and outcomes of care by allowing for basically data to be exchanged through APIs. And as you can well guess what that API is going to be, it's basically FHIR. FHIR R4 was chosen to be that API. But there's a lot of reasons that led up to this, including trying to help people have more competitive options for getting their medical care, giving patients much more convenient access to their records, and frankly, to enable you, the developers, to have much better ways to innovate by getting your hands on real healthcare data and developing a true app economy in healthcare, which we've never had. So FHIR is empowering patients. It's giving them access to their medical records while at the same time protecting their privacy and security through HIPAA. It's also giving them the ability to shop for care and manage costs, much better price transparency in healthcare. For clinicians in hospitals, it's making the ability to get access through other providers outside of their health system, the ability to get their patient data. It allows them to basically have a choice of applications outside of their EMR vendors, but most importantly, it prohibits them from blocking information in the electronic medical record for the patient or their designee. So if they want to have access to that record through an API, they must provide it. So here's some near-term use cases. As I mentioned, building this next wave in digital healthcare applications using things like Smart on FHIR, creating mobile device and collecting patient data for analysis and population health in an analytics repository, and sharing the information between payers, providers, and other people in the healthcare system, such as medtech and pharma. Now, InterSystems, as you may know, has always had a very deep commitment to FHIR. We're actively engaged in the evolution of the FHIR standard. We have people who sit on the FHIR boards. From the beginning, we've had broad and deep support for FHIR in our products, including Smart on FHIR. And we've always believed that it's important to integrate legacy data. So we built transformations between HL7v2 and FHIR. We have a single FHIR stack across all our product lines. So what do you see in the FHIR platform we offer? Well, first, as you'll get to see in this contest, we have full FHIR service capability. We have a FHIR repository that supports all the standard FHIR interactions, including create, read, update, etc. We also make that storage secure, both encryption at rest and in motion. Now, later, maybe in another contest, you'll get to see how you could easily access that API functionality through things like a development portal. And if you needed to, you could have access through the InterSystems API Manager to FHIR API management, the full life cycle of that management. So here are all the different interactions we do support. This is the full range of interactions. And there are lots of things you could do using these interactions to get access to patient data, updating patient data, searching for it, etc. But I don't want to take up all your time. Guillaume is going to show you this in a lot more detail in a hands-on. And so at this point, I'm going to turn it over to him, and I'll stick around for any questions. Thanks, and I'm going to now turn it over to him.
Thanks, Patrick.
Thanks, Patrick. And
I'm going to stop.
actually, if you have any questions to Patrick Jameson, our product manager for InterSystems Iris for Health, you are very welcome to ask it in the chat. Please don't hesitate. And we will also have a Q&A sessions in the end of this meeting. And for now, I invite Guillaume to make a real demo how you can take the template we prepared for you with InterSystems Iris for Health with the latest build 2020.3, the latest release, and set up FHIR server and work with it with REST API, with data, with SQL. So Guillaume, please make a show.
Yeah, so the point of this demonstration and hands-on is to how to use the template which is available on Open Exchange, InterSystems.com, how to use it, and during the demo I will show how to query through the FHIR API, to modify some resources, and also how to use this SQL view of the FHIR repository. So let's start. Go to InterSystems Open Exchange. Here you have the Iris FHIR template. Click on it. Now you can access to download. It's not a typical Git repository. It's a template that's made to be used with this button. And when you use this one, it will create a kind of clone in your own GitHub account. So let's do this. I will name it, for example, demo FHIR Iris. And now it's creating my own depot from this template. And I can start to work with it. Here it is. Now it's on my account. I can clone this template and start to work with it. So let's do this. Git clone, a new repository. Here we are. I move to this repository. Everything is pre-built. So let's open it with VS Code. So in this repository, what we have pre-built data. We have all them here. It's from Synthera. You have an UI, some examples to query the FHIR repository in REST with Postman or in SQL. Few codes and all the Docker file and Docker compose. So to run the demo, just click here and compose. You will start building the repository, start the FHIR SQL, the FHIR registry, and load all the data from this directory directly to the server. while it's building, we can load the Postman collection in Postman. Let's do so. I open Postman. I will import. Here, demo FHIR, NIST, Postman, and Postman. You will create a new directory with all the queries. Here it is, Iris FHIR template. As soon as the server is started, I will see if it works with this call. Here we see the script is loading all the data to the FHIR repository. It's very hot today in Paris, and it's so for my computer, so everything is slow.
So it's not immediate, but not more than 5 minutes to build your own FHIR server on your laptop. So it's done. Yes, as I can see.
So let's go to Postman and check if it's working. If it's working. Yeah, great. So I can call the metadata from the FHIR repository and check the compatibility statement. Okay, now let's check if we have already some patients in this FHIR repository. So I do a call to this URL, and here they are. Nice, working very well. So let's check here. And here you have some shortcuts. I don't know if you're comfortable with Visual Studio Code, but if you click here, you have some shortcut pre-built with the template. And those shortcuts, this one is for the UI demo, where you can check all the patients and have some information about them. For example, we have the hemoglobin in blood and the curve. You have also access to the management portal, where we will see later, we can do some SQL queries directly to the FHIR repository. Okay, let's get back to Postman. We've seen we can query the repository. Now, let's get some observation. The observation is the resources where we have information about the patient, like the hemoglobin. Here we have all the hemoglobin from the patient one. It's the same as what you see here. Let's put another value. All it's pre-built in the repository. So send it. It's okay. Get back. Here it is. We have a new value. Great. Now, what if, as you can see, everything is in JSON? What if we can query all this information in SQL to do some analytics? Let's try to do so. We can do this directly in the portal, like this one here. In this table, you have all the resources from the FHIR 4 and some information about the data. Is not directly the JSON flatten, is important resources indexed. Here they are. So I can do it with the portal, but I can do it also in JDBC. In JDBC, see, I have some results here. And one new option, it's with VS Code. In VS Code, we have a new add-on who's called SQL tool with the FHIR connection. So you just have to download VS Code and clone this repository, and you will have the pre-configured connection to the database. Let's try this one.
Guillaume, just a second.
Yes.
Sorry. Yes, you have a setting for this SQL tool, but you also need to install it. I mean, the plugin. Yes.
Yeah, the plugin, it's here.
Yeah. So if you search for InterSystems, you will find it. It is SQL tool for InterSystems Iris.
That's the one, and that's the driver.
Yeah. Sorry for interrupting. Yeah, but
No,
if you want to really use SQL calls from VS Code, you can do this today. And we have a settings, as Guillaume mentioned, in this template repository. But you just need to install this to extend this extension SQL tool into VS Code.
And after, directly from VS Code, you can execute queries, SQL queries. And here's the result from SQL. So let's try to do something. I want to do analytics on the observation from the patient one. And what I'd like to have is more the value of the hemoglobin. So to do so, let's get back to the portal. I like it, it's brighter. So I will copy paste this command. This one, we select all the observation for the patient one with the learning code 718-7, the hemoglobin mass volume in blood. Doesn't, oh, okay. So here they are. That's these three value we see here. Those tables are query tables for just index and search for information. I don't have the value here. I don't have the value of the hemoglobin. I would like to have this value. All the values are stored in the resources. It's just JSON stored in the tables. So let's get the value from here. So here I will query the table resources for the observation 16. Okay, here it is. And now I see the value of the hemoglobin, it's 14, it's here. Let's try to have this. Okay, so as we can see, the value 14, it's in the object value quantity. Now, with this function, getJSON, I just retrieve in another column the value quantity from the JSON. Now, let's get just the value and not the JSON. I use another command, another function, an SQL function. Yeah. And here we are. The full resources, just the value quantity, and the value from the value quantity, all in SQL. So from there, you've seen you have a template. It's a pre-built FHIR server with all the FHIR capability in JSON to query it through API and do some analytics in SQL. In Open Exchange, you also have other examples in FHIR. I would like to show you one, maybe not demo it, but this one. As Patrick mentioned it, it's something to have a FHIR server running, but it's just something else to have a FHIR server running, working with the legacy. And this demo, for example, it's the same. You just do a git clone docker compose up, and it would show you how to inject HL7 v2 messages to a FHIR repository. And we take care about everything, all the transformation from the HL7 v2 to the FHIR. So let's have a look to this if you have time. That's all for me. We're good for questions.
Yeah, thank you, Guillaume. And everybody are very welcome to ask questions in the chat or in the voice if you want. Just type it. Guillaume, I have a question
Yes.
so far. So I see these magic constructions like getJSON and getProp in the SQL query. Could you please describe how this managed to appear? So where is it from?
Oh, it's a function was called in ObjectScript, and this function is available in source user SQL.
Okay.
So getJSON is just a simple function in ObjectScript, and with this tag, it became a function in SQL. So now I can call it from anywhere in SQL and use it.
Okay, this is really nice and handy. So if I properly understand that you now, with these functions, you are able to get and search any information in JSON in FHIR resources. Is it right?
Yeah. Because in ObjectScript, we have a lot of function where we can deal with JSON. So I import the JSON, transform it into a dynamic object, and get the name of the property and set it back. That's how it works.
But if we already have these functions pre-built in a template by you, so does it mean that we can use these functions as SQL functions from SQL tools, like from dbeaver?
Yes, you can, of course.
So without using ObjectScript?
Here it's a complex query. We will see why it's a complex query.
And this is dbeaver?
Yeah. It's dbeaver with JDBC, with a JDBC connection. And why it's a complex query? Because that's a resource, as you can see. I don't know if you can see stuff. That's the resources. It's a huge resources. And in fact, I would like to have in these resources, in the coding, and I would like to have the display. And it's quite complex because I have an object, another object. In this object, it's an array. And in this array, I have the value I want. And here is all the code. If we dive down, I just want the code. I just want after the coding, I have the coding. Now I want the first element in the coding. I have the first element in the coding. I just want the display. I have the display. And now I have just the value of the display.
Okay, no, this is really nice. Thank you. We have a question. So FHIR opens a wide range of possibilities. Having this in mind, will we have some directions as we had on AI ML contest? What does the expert judges are expecting to see? So I think this question is more to Patrick. Patrick, what features of InterSystems IRIS for health? I mean, what FHIR support features do we want to see the most in the solutions of participants of the contest?
Patrick, I guess you're muted.
Patrick, you are muted. Patrick, you are muted. Sorry, Patrick, you're really mute. Could you please?
I'm trying to.
Yeah.
Do you hear me?
Yes, we do.
Okay. What we're looking for is really innovative applications that it doesn't necessarily have to use all the IRIS for Health features, but really is trying to do something useful either for helping people understand their health, for example, building a mobile app that might show them their own laboratory observations or conditions, or potentially acting as a way to do decision support by detecting out of range values that should be alerted to a physician and routing that information to them. Machine learning could be used if you could extract enough data in the population. There might be things that you could build or models you could build that would predict things like, what we have examples like ER admissions and things like this. But really, there are limitless healthcare applications that could be thought of. FHIR is just basically a way to get access to the medical record, because that information is going to be stored in a format that will allow you to query that medical information using FHIR. So there's just no one type of application. There's potentially thousands.
Yeah, okay, thank you, Patrick. I think this is a very important question, and we will follow up on the community with this. And we recently shared suggested topics, and actually there is a topic from Patrick also, and from other experts who will judge them. Yeah, thank you, Patrick. And another question is this template has all the FHIR resources available? For example, immunization.
I will check that. So here is the post where you have some ideas to work on for the context. Do we have immunization? I don't know. But if it's part of the R4, yes, we have it.
Yes.
As you can see, it's here.
Maybe we could query it.
All the FHIR R4 resources are present in this in IRIS for Health. Okay, so everything that if you go to the HL7 FHIR website and look at all the FHIR R4 resources, all of those resources are going to be present in the product.
Yes, thank you, Patrick, and thank you, Guillaume. And yes, and I just want to add that InterSystems IRIS for Health supports R4 specification of FHIR, so the latest one. And
Right.
so I think, Yuri, we answered your question. And if you want additional data, you can use the executables script files. Maybe Guillaume could show later to generate some more data, like hundreds of participants or patients. And so this is generated using Syntea. So you just call this a script on your laptop, and it will download a Docker image, which does all the job.
Okay.
And actually, it just leaves you, so it's just leaves you the data. And Syntea loader, and you supply the number of patients you want to generate. Yeah.
By default, it's 10, but let's do it with 5.
Yeah, let's. If you do this, yeah, you will. Yeah, while it is being generated, so let's maybe wait. Yeah, it's not very long process. Yeah, it loads all the modules from FHIR.org and then generates patient's data. And it appears in a data folder. And then you can call a method, which is in FHIR template object script source, which loads this data into Iris. Just a method in SRC, FHIR template. Or you can find this in either in Iris script, for example, or in yes, in a devmd. Yeah, by the way, thank you for opening this. I want to mention that this devmd.file is very handy if you find some issues or with Docker. You can just clean up Docker, or you can have a shortcut line to generate the data, to load the data, like and then or open the terminal. For example, this Docker compose exec here. This line will, if you run it in a terminal, it will open a Iris terminal in oh, like do like that. Yeah, like Guillaume does. So there is a or copy and paste and run it, and it will, yes, you have a Iris terminal with a Docker, and then you can run the loader, for example, from here. So Guillaume, could you maybe load these file resources?
Is it?
The command is in devmd.
There is a volume. Okay.
Is in devmd. So the last one you can you can just call it from a file from terminal, and this will do the job. There is some issue. Directory not found. This is because. So could you please open Docker Compose?
Yeah, I guess this directory is not mounted in.
It's mounted actually. Is Iris dev app. So if you check this, if you take this, So we are already developing in real time. Yeah, Iris dev app, and then slash I think data.
FHIR.
Yeah, so it imports it. Okay, fine. So we have a next question here. How do I, from Italo Costa, how do I publish profiles on the FHIR server? Is it possible to publish profiles and extensions from Simplifier?
Not yet. I have to ask Patrick, but I guess profile will be supported in 2020.4.
Yeah, it is. It's on our roadmap, near-term roadmap under development, but it is not ready for production. We're not ready for preview yet.
Okay, Thank you, Patrick. Thank you, Guillaume. Another one. Do you have smart on FHIR sandbox support? Is it possible to hook up a smart on FHIR app from the sandbox to Iris? How about several questions? How about how about CDX hooks sandbox? Yes, 3 questions. Do we have smart on FHIR sandbox support? Is it possible to hook up smart on FHIR app from the sandbox to Iris? And what about CDS hooks sandbox? Guillaume, yeah.
For me, we support Smart on FHIR application directly from the server from our registry for your R4. And I don't know about CDS hooks. So maybe Patrick, I don't know. Don't know about that.
Yeah, I do not think Iris for Health supports CDS hooks. I don't believe so. It may be supported in HealthShare, but I don't believe it's supported in Iris for Health.
Okay. But Italo Costa, you please follow up maybe on the developer community and we can answer broadly. And actually, as for Smart on FHIR Sandbox, as far as I know, we have on our Getting Started page, we have a link to Smart on FHIR Sandbox, I believe. Correct me, Patrick. I think we have it, right?
I think that sandbox, though, is using STU3 and not FHIR-R4.
Okay, got you. So I think we answered your question, Italo, yeah? Another question from Yanni. Yanni, please, I have a question. If I create same patient twice, is patient information will be merged? This is very good question. I believe this is all about FHIR, its versions, right? So Guillaume or Patrick, who will answer that?
In FHIR, if you do a post, it will create twice the same patient. It's the responsibility from the caller to be sure the patient doesn't exist already. To complete this question, we do so. We have something to merge information and so on, but it's in FHIR, not in Iris for Health.
Okay. And question from Yuri, do you have a CRUD example?
Yes, in Postman. So in Postman, you have, for example, the appointment. I prepare for you some appointment. So let's do it. Here is the R. We can read information about appointment. As you can see from the patient one, I do not have any appointment. Let's register an appointment for this patient one. So I will register this appointment. It will be on 2013, December. Let's do it. Okay. Now I have the appointment. Great. And it's here. Okay. Now I would like to update it. I do a put on the ID of the appointment. And what it will change, it will change the date. It will not be anymore in December, but in November, and with no comment. Before there were a comment. So as you can see, there is a comment and it's December. Oops, that's a post. Get the appointment and as I posted up, here it is. Now it's in November with no comment. So you have a crude example in a JSON API. And for the delete, you just call the delete. So maybe we can do it. Delete appointment. This one. Yeah, this one is delete. No content. That's not this number. new content. So no, I guess there is no more happening. I have to check or to do deletes, but we support deletes. And I can add to the template an example of delete.
Yeah, and thank you, Guillaume. So Yuri, as you see, we have we provide a Postman collection in the template, and so you're welcome to use it and examine the calls, the API calls. But as as you know, FHIR endpoint is not only about CRUD, so there are other commands like vread or search and something like that, and we provide these these samples as well. And I think, as also as Guillaume mentioned and showed, the Open Exchange contains some deeper examples of using FHIR API and FHIR server in InterSystems Iris for Health. Like this one is called demo and some other. And also I think readmission with demo also, yeah. Okay, Yuri, yes, I think we are answering the question. Any more questions, colleagues? So we see already that you thank yours. So yeah, we're excited as well. So we really looking for your solutions. So I think if you don't have any more questions, maybe you have questions to our product manager, Patrick Jameson. So anything about roadmap, anything else? Okay, I think we're good. And as Patrick said in the beginning, and I can confirm that this is our first but not last FHIR contest. We're just starting, and we want to introduce you all the features of InterSystems Iris for Health to let you build helpful applications using InterSystems Iris for Health and FHIR support in it. And as you know, with every quarter we have a new release of InterSystems Iris for Health with some new features, and actually 2020.3 contains some functionality to use InterSystems Iris for Health as a client to other FHIR servers, and also what we didn't expose today, but we have this functionality. So InterSystems Iris for Health supports data transformations from different health standard data, and there are samples how to use it, how to do it on Open Exchange. There are these samples, and there is a great demand of these applications, and InterSystems Iris for Health supports it. So you are very welcome to use it. And actually, to raise these questions, we will provide the explanations and demos how to use it in the most robust way. So I think that's it. So Patrick, Guillaume, do you want to add anything? Oh, that's it.
No,
so you're both
it's
muted.
good for me.
Okay. So
No, it's good for me.
Guillaume, thank you so much. Patrick, you are muted. You are muted, yeah.
I think you should point out that there are a lot of resources on our website too, so that there are some videos and tutorials and things like that they could access.
Right. Yeah, we published a really rich set of learning courses, documentation links, and sandbox and application Open Exchange. And you have 2 weeks to get it all and build your fantastic applications with InterSystems Iris for Health against FHIR endpoint. And actually looking forward to see your applications. And looking in 2 weeks, in 3 weeks, we are looking to see our new winners of InterSystems programming contests. And today, thank you for participating in this webinar, and see you in the community. Have a great week. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
See you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.